Hi everybody, Brian from Steeda.com, here today spotlighting our Bumpsteer kit for the S550 Mustang. The suspension design on the front of the S550 Mustang is really a unique design, and Ford had learned a lot from the previous models and has continued to evolve the car and the suspension setup. Bumpsteer is exactly what it sounds like. When you hit a bump, the tendency to want to steer. This means that if you catch a bump on the left side of the car or a bump on the right side of the car, the steering wheel may pull just a little bit. That quite literally is bumpsteer. You hit a bump as the suspension compresses, the alignment changes, and it causes the car to want to steer one direction or the other. Obviously, this is not ideal. The reality to this is it's caused by the different length of the control arm to the different length of the outer tie rod end or the steering rack end. And since they move on separate arches, when one starts to go up at more of an angle, it starts to pull in the steering a little bit. There you go, bumpsteer. Now, the factory's done a really good job of dialing a lot of that out, especially at stock ride height, but it still exists to some degree because they know the car is going to move within a certain range of motion. If you lower the car, you've now changed that range of motion, or at least repositioned it, if you will, and that's why the bumpsteer kit is important. The advantage that using the Steeda Bumpsteer kit offers is adjustability. So if the car's at stock ride height or it's been lowered some, it gives you the adjustability to set the outer tie rod end close to parallel with the lower control arm or the lateral link. And this is important because, again, they move on an arc together, but the arcs are not quite at the same rate. So as the suspension travels, it wants to steer a little bit. So ultimately, when you're setting this up, it gives you the ability to dial out some of that bump steer. And you might be questioning yourself again still, what is bump steer? What does it feel like? Have I encountered this? Obviously, we've all felt the steering wheel move. If you've hit the brakes hard and you're fighting the steering wheel, that in essence has to do with bump steer. It could also be front tires or a couple of other things. But the reality is that's a good exaggeration of what happens. The tires toe out and you're kind of fighting that steering a little bit. The idea here is to solve that. If you're road racing or autocrossing the car, this will give you, again, more stability through the corners, better feel, and more importantly, when you hit those rumble strips like you see Glenn doing repeatedly, it's going to keep the car tracking nice and true. And the advantages don't just come in while you're cornering. We also utilize these on our silver bullet world record setting drag race car. Now, this is important because that car, as it's accelerating, utilizing the comp cams, the Circle D torque converter, the QA1 drive shaft, and of course, the Steeda stop the hop components, that thing goes and the front of the car is up continually. So again, you're dialing in the suspension and the steering feel for how you're utilizing the car. The factory units don't give you that option. Again, here comes the Steeda Bumpsteer kit. Now, these are made in the USA at our Valdosta, Georgia manufacturing facility because speed matters. To go further on this, obviously you see that we've used a heat-treated, tapered steel stud. And this is very important because no modifications are required to the car. We definitely recommend professional installation. In fact, this needs to be done at a shop that knows how to measure the bump steer. This is very important in setting it up correctly so that it benefits you the way that it should and to its fullest capacity. Moving to the perpendicular end of things is the spherical bearing. And this is made to our specification and it's preloaded to ensure that there's no noise or knockback through the steering or through your suspension. It also offers freer movements. This means more precise steering feel without any noise, as mentioned. Another important aspect is this threads into our CNC billet aluminum collar. We constructed these in billet aluminum for strength and durability, and then anodized it black for corrosion resistance. Where were you the first time you experienced bump steer in your Mustang? If you'd like to learn more about these and many of the other great parts we offer, be sure to visit us at Steeda.com. If you enjoyed the content of this video, click like and be sure to share it with other enthusiasts. And to see the latest as far as our road racing, track day, and drag racing efforts, be sure to follow us on social media. Thank you very much for watching and have a fantastic day.